Hey viewers, Hexcraft here. Before we start a few things, first off, I chose Gragas because of his new skin coming out, and before we really get into it, I should mention that I'm primarily focusing on his model and the model of the barrel. The details and the effects will be also brought into consideration, but he is a melee mage technically, and some of his effects are very much just the same, repeated. All in all though, if there is details that I like and think are good, I will mention those. But out of the way, let's get started. As always, base skin gets a 5, and I gotta say, Gragas is a mixed bag. On one hand, he needs the visual update. He still has the sharp edges to his model, he's just a searchable fat drunk character. There's something really special about him, but at the same time, there are sort of three things going for him character-wise, because technically speaking, being a Freljordian kind of person, his body does make sense. He's built more like a deadlifter, an actual muscle man, not the bodybuilders you'd see that have the show-off muscles like you see in most Freljordian characters. Gragas is a bit more extreme in his model, yes, but at the same time, yeah, it makes sense. He's this kind of deadlifting muscle man because he carries on a barrel, which as well, his character knows what he's doing. He's not stupid. Instead of being just a fat drunken lore, he's actually a very smart and intelligent individual, plus his strength. He knows his liquor and how to make it perfectly. And also, to be fair, the whole stubby kind of look he has can also go to the fact that originally it seemed the concept art showed he was going to be a dwarf maybe. All in all though, okay for what it is, but it could do for an update. I didn't think they could go worse when it came to a Gragas skin early on, because all they did was change outfits back then, and come on, how do you mess up being worse than a loincloth? And then we have Scuba Gragas. It's the same barrel first off, and he's just covered in clutter. The mask, breathing tank on his stomach, flipper feet to make his feet look even bigger than they were before, that kind of weird gauge on his wrist, and the suit, quote unquote, yeah, it's just his body model retextured, but it just looks like someone painted blackish gray paint on Gragas. All in all, it's a bad skin, even for an early skin, and hopefully, maybe Copium, that when he gets an update, it'll look better, but for now, it's a 3. All in all, Hillbilly Gragas isn't that bad. The barrel does fit more so with the design, because of course you couldn't just give him a different barrel for being a hillbilly. Giving him overalls really does improve the model. The blonde hair and little hat go well, and it does seem like he's missing his tattoos now, so he's slightly tan, like he's been working outside all day. All in all, it's not a bad change. For an early model, I see why Hillbilly is one of the popular old skins, and I give it a 6. When it comes to early Gragas skins, this is weird to say, Santa Gragas is actually one of his really, really good early skins. First off, one of his drunken effects is that you'll notice mixed in with his drunkenness or his W, and in his R, you'll notice candy breaking out. Cool details like that. The model itself is very decently well, the idea of a fat drunken Santa Claus, but also, again, it fits the whole fat Santa Claus look. And finally, the last detail that I do love is the barrel is wrapped up, but not just that. He drops the bag he's carrying to throw the barrel, and it looks like he's pulling from the bag. Details like that I think are great, and all in all, I think this is actually a really good skin for being such a cheap old skin. So yeah, I actually give this a 7. Fun little fact, this actually isn't a part of the normal gentleman skin. This is actually part of the Crime City skin line apparently, which I think is a funny concept. And overall, it's a really good early skin. I do think the Gragas in the suit is a great concept, having his beard branch off like that. Him having also the little cigarette on a stick is cool, but more importantly, the barrel being this large wine bottle, which actually sort of moves a bit different, I would say, during the Q animation, and actually shatters upon breaking in both that and in the alt. All in all, for an early skin, again, the details are great and the model is on point, so I give it a 7. I will say, it's kind of funny though when he does the animation to open to, smell inside the barrel. He does rip off the entire, top of the bottleneck and then puts it back on. This is one of those skin lines that it was just made to have Gragas in it. Big, burly biker dude showing his strength and being badass brawler. Yeah, it fits perfect. I will point out, it does kind of look like Gragas is a bit actually thinner in this model than in the other ones. But I also do love how they, instead of made it a barrel, they have a keg he throws that actually pumps during some of the animations. The final detail that I do love is that they changed the purple effect of the usual alcohol to this more or less brownish liquid to resemble beer, which fits perfect. All in all, it's a good bottle, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. It's weird to say, but this is actually one of his best skins. The barrel looks way better, higher quality, being designed to be more of a well-detailed barrel. But not just that, honestly, his entire model is a bit more refined. It kind of looks like this was a higher quality model, but it's also an older model, so yeah. Again, the setting fits. There really is no one else I could think of the skin line for except Gragas. Beard looks great. And again, it brought back the beer color effects from Vandal. I do also love how, small detail, when he actually uses his E, he drops pretzels behind him. And yeah, weirdly to say, but this skin gets an 8. It's really good. From one of his best to one of his worst, dear God. When you look at the splash art for this does not look anything like it. The only thing going good for this is actually his barrel now basically being what is probably just full of energy drink or fucking Gatorade or whatever. But all in all, this model is a mess. It's just smeared paint on the texture. If it wasn't for the body model being a bit higher quality, this would get a 3, but because the model's a bit better quality, even after getting covered in all that crap, I'm at least gonna give it a 4. And immediately after having a fan skin, he has a team fan skin. This is just Gragas wearing, Fnatic merch. The only thing positive, again, is the barrel being the old trophy, which, fun fact, I heard that thing weighed tons, so it was really hard for players to carry it and lift it. So it being the barrel that Gragas can lift is kind of a funny thing. But overall, this is just a fat guy in a beard, with a beard wearing merch. Nothing special. It gets a 4. Now this one's a bit more decent. First off, again, barrel looks better. It is the same, still, purple effect, the alcohol and such. Nothing really special, but all in all, kind of adventure paladin look. Head reminds me of one of the dwarfs in The Hobbit, and of course he has the Sunbro kind of logo on his suit. And all in all, it's a decent model. I'll give it a 6, but it could do better if it actually had different effects. Maybe something related to some paladin like Holy Light, or instead of being the purple, it's supposed to be red for a healing potion kind of look for Gragas. But it is what it is. I actually don't like this skin. Again, the barrel effects with the cold air and the ice are pretty okay all in all, but model-wise, the container is, what, nitrogen? A bomb? And yeah, he's just a big guy in Arctic military gear, but he doesn't have the iconic beard. I feel like that's one of the main things that I feel the skin's missing. It doesn't feel like Gragas unless you have the beard. And then just having that simple helmet kind of makes it realize that his head is really small compared to the rest of his body. All in all, though, it still gets a 6, but it could be so much better. Yeah, no, Gragas in full armor with his stuff not being really alcohol based, but this kind of like heavenly energy. All in all, it actually does work for him, and I do love the impact having a crater effect with his ults, besides the energy blast. So yeah, I give this a 7, but another small detail that I love, in his actual W, you see he gains a pair of wings, which also his barrel does when you throw the ult. I bring this up more so because those wings have been reused on so many skins, including I think a luck skin actually. So yeah, I think this is the first time we've actually seen these wings in a model. So every time you see one of your, girly pop, like colorful champ with those wing effects, remember, those came from this skin probably. I think it's a 7 still though. When it comes to Space Groove, I always believe that there's two types. There's the one that lean towards music and the one that lean towards the goo aspect. And the model leans towards the music, but every effect leads towards goo, which is a shame. That's really how Gragas' abilities are set up in that, and I think that's the downfall. He heavily does too much of the goo effects, and there is nothing really leaning on the actual music and dancing, except his recall, of course, and a few small details here and there, but all in all, it's just goo. I'll give this a 6, mainly because the model is still okay, even though it's still the chaoticness of Space Groove, and yeah, look critter in the barrel. Just like with Vandal, yeah, no, this was made perfect for Gragas. The kind of devil fire effects that it has, the cowboy aesthetic, more or less, this is just some extremely demonic whiskey, which, yeah, it kind of fits Gragas' style. So yeah, more or less the barrel and the model work perfectly fine, and it also just has some still very strong, very decent abilities, even though it doesn't rely on the usual gun effects and like other small things here and there others have. Of course, there's tumbleweeds when he dashes and such, and the glow of his actual W, I feel like, is a lot better on this skin. All in all, it's a really good skin, and it gets a 7. It's so weird to say, but this is, I think, one of Gragas' best skin, if not his best skin. I know it's supposed to be like a goofy for the fan skin, but honestly, those are always the great ones. KDA Gragas, even though I know it's not called that, it's called Music Fan, but I'm gonna call it KDA. It's just great. I think the outfit looks amazing on him, especially with the fact they gave him the tattoo on his stomach for KDA instead of just covering up his stomach, turning his barrel into a soda, which when you throw it, it plays music, which I should mention now, almost all of his abilities have music to them and references. The soda can having the Akali's dragon graffiti, and again, it blowing up into this blast of glittery energy. The shine effects he gets when he does his dash. The cool detail of when he uses his W, he actually does the sort of black and neon effect that Akali had during the music video. All the details there. And of course, just the blast from his ult. A sparkling shot that shows the KDA logo, light, glitter, kind of confetti stuff. And again, plays music. All in all, for what Gragas has going for him, this highlights every aspect of what Gragas currently is. And yeah, it highlights all of his aspects. It really gives a lot of cool details. And it's hard to say this, but I'm giving it a 9. Someone will probably point out a reason why it shouldn't be a 9, it should be an 8, but honestly, I think this deserves a 9. It's a really well-made skin, it's really incredible, and if you buy it before after a certain day, I forget what day it is, but starting when it came out, it's also a charity skin, so yeah, that really plays to the benefit. So good job, Riot, you did something right. And that'll do it. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a comment down below the champion you'd like to see, comment which is your favorite Gragas skin, like and share if you will, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.